What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Do You Want More, a UFC stat show right here on the Monkmatics channel. I am your host, Monk, aka the Monkmatician, and on this week's episode, we are getting into the main card of UFC Vegas 37, headlined by Anthony Smith and Ryan Spann. So all 6 fights on the main card. Let's see some numbers, baby. First fight of the main card. Joaquin Buckley against Antonio Arroyo. Middleweight fight. Buckley, 5'10", 76-inch reach, southpaw, 27 years old, going against Antonio Arroyo, 6'3", but a shorter reach, 73-inch reach. Orthodox fighter, 32 years old. Buckley, professionally, 12-4, 2-2 in the UFC. 25% of his career fights have gone the distance. He has 9 wins by KO TKO. No sub numbers whatsoever. Antonio Arroyo, 9-4 professionally, 0-2 in the UFC. 23% of his fights have gone the distance. 4 wins by KO TKO, 4 wins by sub, has been subbed twice. Total fight time, or average fight time rather, 6.27 minutes for Buckley, 15 for Arroyo. Both have negative ass whoop index, surprisingly. Arroyo's significantly lower. Buckley's power index, 5th highest in the middleweight division, 2.61. But he also has the 3rd lowest chindex, 2.19 in the division. Oof, that is rough. Let's see, Buckley opened at minus 190, currently minus 219, so a bit of line movement. Arroyo plus 165, currently plus 175. Buckley has a 100% finish rate in the UFC, wins and losses. Has 2 round 2 finish wins, a round 1 finish loss, and a round 3 finish loss. Basic striking data. Buckley, 4.59 significant strikes landed per minute at a 36% rate. 5.46 landed against, however, per minute at a 52% defense. Negative 0.88 significant strikes landed per minute differential. That is pretty poor, 56 out of 65 in the middleweight division. He has a negative 12% striking efficiency. Has spent a whopping 86%, almost 87% of his total fight time at distance. Let's see here. Arroyo, 2.47 strikes landed per minute at a 67.89% accuracy. That's the 4th highest accuracy in the division. Only got hit with 1.4 strikes, significant strikes per minute, 2nd lowest in the division. At a 47.5% defense, has a positive 1.07 striking differential. 15.4% striking efficiency, spent only 32.17% of his fight time at distance. So some strangely decent numbers from Arroyo there compared to Buckley. Knockdown data, 3 knockdowns for Buckley, 3 against as well. That is 1.79 knockdowns against and knockdowns for per 15 minutes. Arroyo, no knockdown numbers to speak of. Takedown data. Buckley, 0.6 takedowns landed per 15 minutes, 16, almost 17% accuracy. He does have a 100% takedown defense, as he did stuff 1 takedown. 16% takedown efficiency. Arroyo, on the other side, even less takedowns landed per 15 minutes at 0.5, 100% accuracy. He has a terrible 7.5 takedowns landed against per 15, and an even worse 34.78% takedown defense. That is pretty bad. 0.92% takedown shooting rate, but a positive 34.78% takedown efficiency. Let's see here. Basic control time data, 12.29% for Buckley, 1% against. That is the 3rd lowest in the middleweight division. Has spent 13.29% of his fight time inside the distance, and he has controlled 92.5% of that fight time. His hold down time, 30.83 seconds. Arroyo, on the other side, 18.39% control time, 49.44% against. That is terrible. That is a, let's see, almost 1 to 3 ratio there. 67%, almost 68% of his total fight time has occurred inside the distance, and he has only controlled 27.11% of that time. I gotta kind of move this monitor a little bit, get myself a little more centered here. Where was I? Control time. His get up time, Arroyo, 38.7 seconds, and his hold down time, does that even count? I guess it does. 331 seconds for his one takedown. Submissions data, nothing for. Arroyo has defended 2 submissions against him. He has a fantastic head striking accuracy. His accuracy is pretty good across the board. Distance accuracy, 66.67. That is second in the division. Striking efficiency and differentials, we're going to have positive numbers here for Arroyo, except for inside the distance, negative 73%. Complete opposite for Buckley, positive 74% inside the distance here. Buckley gets pieced up at distance, minus 1.2 strikes per minute differential. Arroyo on the other side, positive head striking differential, positive distance striking differential, positive ground strike differential. Last 5 fights, neither one of these guys has that many in the UFC, so we can skip that. Strength of schedule, this is going to go to Buckley, except for the strength of victory. Arroyo does have a bit, or strength of defeat rather. Arroyo has been beaten by a greater caliber of opponent than Buckley has. But pretty good numbers from Buckley there. I mean, over 75, almost all of these. Has a couple of very high ratios. Lost to DiCarico, lost to Holland. Smashed up Kasanganay, as we mentioned in the last video. A couple of graphs here to look at before we move on. Our fighter is trending up as far as strikes per minute go, or yeah, significant strikes landed per minute, but so is his opponent, and he is below his opponent's average. No takedown defense for his opponent, and hardly any control time. So we're looking pretty good there, and trending up in control time is Buckley. Arroyo trending way up as far as strikes go. Takedowns, not so much. Control time, getting smashed up by guys like Muniz and Deron Wynn. Visual statistical recap. I mean, I don't know. This is kind of, Buckley's got half of this and Arroyo has the other half. Arroyo's got the better takedown accuracy and the significant striking accuracy, but everything else is Buckley. Buckley never been submitted, but he has been knocked out. Arroyo never been knocked out, but he has been submitted. And the strength of schedule here, pretty even except for, you know, the victory and the strength of defeat kind of pulling at each other. I'm thinking finish for this one, you guys. The aggregate win-loss and finish rates here. If I can scroll up past my head, there you go. You can see what that says. We got some high finishing number. Number of percent of finishes in wins, 100% in the UFC. I mean, even in the career. 81% finish rate in wins, 62.5% finish rate in the losses. That's looking pretty good for an inside the distance fight there. All right, let's keep it going. Who do we got next? Armin Surukian. Did I spell that correctly? I did. Surukian going against Christos Giagos. Lightweight fight. Surukian, 5'7", 72-inch reach, orthodox fighter, almost 25 years old, 16-2 professionally. He's 3-1 in the UFC. Oh, just under 40% of his fights do go the distance. He has 5 wins by knockout, 1 loss, and 5 wins by sub. Giagos, 5'10", 71-inch reach. So again, a taller guy with shorter arms. 31 years old, significantly older. He's 19-8 professionally, 5-4 in the UFC. Over 40% of his fights do go the distance. He has 7 wins by knockout, 1 loss, 4 wins by sub, and 4 losses. A very good ass whoop index for Armin Surukian here. 11.61, that is good for 11 out of 73 in the lightweight division. Never had a knockdown, never been knocked down. Giagos on the other side, 4.81 ass whoop index, not terrible. Also, no power and no chin index. Surukian opened minus 300. This line currently is minus 717 on average. Giagos plus 250, currently plus 482. This is a plus 125 fight doesn't go, minus 165 fight does go. Some finishing data. Surukian, no finishes in the UFC. Giagos has a round 1 and a round 2 finish and has also been finished in the first and second round. Striking data. Surukian, pretty run-of-the-mill for offense here. 3.35 landed per minute. 44.87% accuracy. Only gets hit with 1.43 strikes per minute. That is good for 7th out of 73 in the lightweight division. 62% defense. Has a 1.92 significant strikes landed per minute differential. That is 10th in the division, so very good numbers there. 7% striking efficiency, and has spent 52.25% of his fights at distance. A couple of other numbers here. When he throws over 100 strikes, happened 3 times. He lands 4.18 strikes per minute, and he's won all 3 of those fights. When he faces over 100 strikes per minute, which has happened once, he's also won that fight and lands over 6 strikes per minute. On the other side, Giagos, 2.93 strikes landed per minute at a 41.45% accuracy. 2.77 significant strikes landed against per minute at a 50% defense. A positive differential of 0.16 strikes per minute. Has a negative 8.27 efficiency, striking efficiency number, and a 46.72% time fought at distance. No knockdown numbers at all. Basic takedown data, 3.5 takedowns landed per 15 for Armin Surukian at a 35% accuracy. His takedown defense, though, only one per 15 minutes at a 79% defense. That is crazy good. Has stuffed 15 out of 19 takedowns. Has an 8.93% takedown shooting rate, 13.95% takedown efficiency. Great takedown numbers from Mr. Surukian. Giagos, 3.38 takedowns landed per 15 minutes, right behind Surukian at a 41.5% accuracy. His defense not so good. Stuffed 10 of 20 takedowns. Has an even, not even bigger, just under 7.68% takedown shooting rate. That is also very high. Has a positive takedown differential. Negative efficiency, though, when it comes to takedowns. Negative 8.5%. Control time data. 35% for Surukian, 12.5% against. Let's see. Controls over a round per 15 minutes. Has spent 47.75% of his total fight time inside the distance, and he's controlled 74% of that fight time. Has a fantastic get-up time, 23.5 seconds. Hold-down time is okay, 31.8 seconds. Giagos on the other side, control time 34.5% against 18%. 53% of his fights have been fought inside the distance, and he also controls majority of that time, 64, almost 65% of that time. Not so good of a get-up time, though, 55 second. Hold-down time, 38 seconds. Submission info, nothing for Surukian. 2 of 3 for Giagos. And has defended 2 of 4. Reversals, 2 reversals for Giagos, 2 against. 20% of all takedowns landed against him get reversed. Not great striking numbers here, but some okay defensive numbers from Armin Surukian. Efficiency, we're positive pretty much everywhere. These differential numbers are great. Over a strike per minute, over almost 1.5 distance strikes per minute. That was 1.27 strikes to the head, rather. And then significantly lower for Christos Giagos. Last 5, we can, well, Surukian's numbers will be the same. Giagos actually has a fantastic ass whoop index in his last 5. 12.02. No knockdowns against. I mean, his takedown accuracy is decent. His takedown defense not as good. And then the control time is also there. 6.8. Or no, sorry, 42% for and 10% against. So in his last 5, he's definitely improved his numbers, has Giagos. I mean, look at this. Career numbers compared to his last 5. Everything except for strikes landed against per minute has gone up. And it's not just a little bit. I mean, pretty good numbers here. Takedowns landed per 15 in his last 5 versus his career, up 1.39. Strength of schedule, this is all Armin Surukian here. Fantastic numbers from him. A 95 strength of defeat. He lost to Islam Makhachev. Giagos, pretty run-of-the-mill numbers as far as strength of schedule goes. In his last 5, what are we in his last 5? Yeah, 4-1. And there are the last 5 numbers if you want to take a look at that. We'll scroll up a little bit so you can see past my head. Couple of graphs here. Armin Surukian looking fantastic. I mean, look at these graphs right here. Trending way up in strikes, way up in takedowns, and way up in control time. My God. And his opponents all trending down. On the other side, pretty similar actually, except opponents trending way up against Giagos as far as strikes go. But his takedown numbers are fantastic, and so are his control time numbers. Really, really good. Visual statistical recap. Let's see here. Armin Surukian has Giagos covered almost everywhere, except that takedown accuracy is just a bit better for Christos. Surukian, never been subbed, has been knocked out. Has a great win percentage, good sub index, all that. Much better strength of schedule everywhere. Has Christos dominated. As far as finishes go, we're at about 60% in their career, only 30% in the UFC. So not really looking for a finish in this one, I don't think. Armin Surukian kind of just dominates guys for 15 full minutes. All right. Next fight, Ariani, excuse me. Women's flyweight fight. 5'6" is Lipski, 67-inch reach, 27 years old. She's 13-7 professionally, 2-4 in the UFC, the Queen of Violence. 40% of her career fights go to decision. She has 6 wins by TKO, 3 wins by sub. So quite the little finisher there. Going against Mandy Bohm, UFC newcomer. I have no stats for her, so this will be quick. 5'6", 70-inch reach, so she does have the longer arms here. She's not 121 years old. I must have forgotten to put her birthday in. That is my fault. She's 7-0 professionally, undefeated. 42% of her fights go the distance. 2 wins by knockout, 2 wins by sub. Lipski, negative ass whoop index, -8. She does have a decent power index, though, 0.55. That is 3rd in the division. Never been knocked down. Lipski opened at an even odds. She's currently -115, and it's kind of flipped. Mandy opened -125. She's currently even. That is interesting. Round 1 finish wins, 1 for Lipski, and 2 round 2 finish losses. Striking data for Lipski. And I'm going to have no data for Mandy Bohm. Like I said, I have no UFC fights to track, so it's going to be pretty much zeros till we get to strength of schedule. So Ariani Lipski, 2.76 significant strikes landed per minute, 33% accuracy, not great numbers there towards the lower end of the division. Gets hit with 4.25 strikes per minute at a 48.8% defense. That's a -1.48 significant strikes landed per minute differential. Pretty poor. -17.8% striking efficiency. Has spent 41.63% of her total fight time fought at distance. Knockdown data. She does have 1 knockdown. Did I say she didn't before? I don't know what I'm talking about. She does have 1 knockdown. Basic takedown data. Not much. 0.23 per 15 landed. 25% accuracy. Gets 1.83 takedowns landed against her per 15 minutes at a 42.86% defense. Not good. Has only stuffed 6 out of 14 takedowns total. -32% efficiency. Control time gets out-controlled almost double. 21% for, 37.5% against. She gets controlled for over around 5.61 minutes per 15 minutes. She spends 58% of her fight time fighting inside the distance, only controls 36% of that fight time. Her get-up time is terrible, 105 seconds. Her hold-down time is very good, 205 seconds, 3rd in the division. Submission attempts, 1 for 2. She is 100% submission defense rate. 1 reversal for, 1 against. Nothing standing out to me as far as these accuracy or volume numbers go. Pretty low numbers there towards the low end of the division. Negative striking efficiency everywhere except for the body. Negative striking differentials everywhere except for the body. 77.86% of her significant strikes thrown go to the head, 15% to the body, 7 to the legs. So she does do a pretty good job of spreading those strikes out. 92% of her significant strikes, though, have been thrown from distance. Last 5, we can take a look at that. Her ass whoop index is terrible, -8.23. Power index is a bit better, even better than it was in her career, 0.78. So we've improved there. But we are trending downward in almost every single category, guys. Way down. Strength of schedule. This is going to go to Ariani Lipski. Not even close. Mandy Bohm's last 5 opponents, I mean, their professional records are 14-21. That is just god-awful. I mean, we want to see 75s here, like this. We're not even at 50. So, yeah, she's undefeated, but she's fighting... I mean, her opponents are not good. They're just not good. So we'll see how she does against Lipski. A lot of them, I mean, like we saw, this fight opened up with Lipski as the underdog, and I might wait for those odds to come a little higher for Lipski if the money's going to keep coming in on Bohm. I like Lipski here. We'll see, though. Last 5, in case you want to look at that. trending down as far as striking, and her opponents are as well, but that average is way below her opponent's average. She has no takedowns to speak of, and her control time is also trending way down. Not looking good at all. We don't really have any graphs for Mandy Bohm, as I don't have any stats for her. But these numbers for Lipsky, you know, I guess when I have nothing to compare them to, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I was going to say they're pretty good, but I don't even know what to compare them to, so I have nothing to go on. Lipsky never been subbed. Let's see. Has no losses. Okay, that's why these are all up here. And the strength of schedule, obviously, I mean, that's the widest strength of schedule margin we're going to see on this whole card. And there are the aggregate win, loss, and finish rates. Halfway through, next fight, Nicholas Mata was supposed to fight Jim Miller. Jim Miller got COVID, or someone in his camp did, so hope he's doing well. Cameron Van Camp ended up stepping in for him on very short notice. He is a UFC newcomer. Again, just like Mandy Bohm, I have no stats, so we will fly through this. Nicholas Mata going against Cameron Van Camp, lightweight fight. Mata, 5'9", 70-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 28 years old. Van Camp, 61 or 60. God, I did this last time too. 6'1". I don't know his reach, don't even know how he fights, and neither does the UFC. He is 3 months, 2.5 months younger than Nicholas Mata. Mata, 12-3 professionally, 1-0 in the UFC. Van Camp, 15-5-1 professionally. 28.5% of his fights do go the distance. 4 knockout wins, 9 submission wins for Cameron Van Camp. Mata has 8 knockout wins in his career. This fight opened plus, actually, no, those odds are not correct. Pay no attention to that. I have no odds for this fight yet. Basic striking data for Mata. We're going to skip everything from Van Camp because I have no stats. Mata lands 2.8 significant strikes per minute. Very low in the division at a 27% accuracy. That is damn near dead last. Gets hit with 3.6 strikes per minute at a 67% defense. So a little bit better. Striking differential negative 0.80. 58th out of 73 in the lightweight division. Negative 5.5 striking efficiency. Fought 94, almost 95% of his total fight time at distance. Almost said inside the distance, but instead I made a ridiculous noise. Let's keep it moving. No knockdowns, no takedowns. Has 100% takedown defense. Stuffed the one lone takedown against him. Control time 0% for, 5% against. Let's see. Has controlled 0% of the 5% of his fight time, of the grappling time, I should say. Wow, he has like next to no stats here. This is going to be a quick one. Sorry, all you Nicholas Mata fans. You're going to have to tape your boy. Negative striking efficiency across the board, except for head striking, 4.2%. 94% of the significant strikes thrown from Mata went to the head. 99% of the strikes he threw were inside, or were from at distance, rather. Strength of schedule numbers. Pretty good for Mata. Over 75 opponent win rate. 71 strength of schedule. 77 strength of victory. 64 strength of defeat. Cameron Van Camp. Pretty poor strength of schedule across the board. And the reason I don't have anything for Nicholas Mata, I'm just now seeing, he fought Joe Lowry, asterisk, meaning this is a Dana White Contender Series fight. I usually don't track those unless, like in this case, I have no other stats whatsoever. But apparently he won that fight with a negative ass whoop index, and the ass whoop index tells me who won the fight. So let's see, he got outstruck in that fight. And out-controlled. So yeah, somehow he won. Interesting. Graphs don't really have much to look at. Never been finished, Van Camp. Very good there. Strength of schedule goes to Nicholas Mata, as we discussed. And then the finish rates, 77% of all fights have, or of all wins have ended in finish. 62% of losses. So some pretty big finish numbers there. Let's keep it moving. Ion. Jan? I like Jan. Kutalaba. Like I'm saying, like, I'll just pronounce it how I want. I like it this way. No, I think that's how it is. Kutalaba. Light heavyweight fight going against Devin Clark. Ian 6'1", 75-inch reach, southpaw fighter, 27 years old, going against Clark, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 31 years old. Cutelaba 15-6-1. He's 4-5-1 in the UFC. Only 18% of his fights in his career have ever seen the distance. He has 12 wins by TKO and 2 wins by sub. Devin Clark 12-5 in his professional career, 6-5 in the UFC. 47% of his fights have gone the distance. He only has 3 wins by KO, 1 win by sub, has been finished 5 times. Let's see. Ian opened up at -105. He's currently -144. Devin Clark currently +119. This fight is a -150, doesn't go to decision. Some finishing data there. Lots of round 1 finish losses between these guys in the UFC. 5 of them. Half of their losses have been in the first round. Basic striking data. Ian, 5 strikes landed per minute. That's 5th in the light heavyweight division. 40% accuracy. He gets hit with 3.8 significant strikes per minute. 47% defense. That is the 8th best differential. 1.23 significant strikes landed per minute. He does have a negative striking efficiency, however, negative 12.5%. He has spent 70% of his total fight time fighting at distance. Devin Clark, on the other hand, 3.33 significant strikes landed per minute at a 57% accuracy. Only gets hit with 2.43 strikes against per minute at a 48, almost 49% defense with a differential of 0.91. That is 15th best in the light heavyweight division. His striking efficiency is a positive 6%, and he's only spent 38.31% of his total fight time fighting at distance. Knockdown data for Cutelaba, 1 in his career, 2 against. Devin Clark, 2 knockdowns for, 2 knockdowns against. Both guys have lost all fights in which they've been knocked down. Basic takedown data, 3.69 takedowns landed for Ian. That is the 4th highest in the division at a 57.5% accuracy, 6th high. I mean, his takedown game is fantastic. 0.97 takedowns landed against per 15 at a 78% defense. Very good. I mean, his takedown differential numbers per 15, 2.72. His takedown efficiency, 35.84%. Cutelaba coming through in the takedown department here. Devin Clark on the other side, 2.7 landed per 15. That's 6th highest in the division at a 36.8% accuracy. Also, with some 0.39 takedowns landed against per 15 at a 77% defense, 2.31 takedowns landed per 15 differential, 13%. I mean, these numbers are very good for both guys. Cutelaba does have an edge, though. Here's where we switch it up a little, though. Control time, 15.5% for, almost 14% against, so pretty even for Cutelaba. 29% of his total fight time coming inside the distance. He has controlled 52.68% of that time. 28-second get-up time and a 22-second hold-down time. So pretty good numbers there. Devin Clark, on the other side, controls way more time than Cutelaba. 38.73% for, 23% against. He's fought 62% of his total fight time inside the distance, and he's controlled 63% of that time. His get-up time is very low, 123.6 seconds. His hold-down time is pretty good, though, 47.5. Reversal data, not much to look at. Let's see here. Striking efficiency, we are negative across the board for Cutelaba, except for inside the distance, where he is barely above water, and then positive everywhere for Devin Clark, so pretty good there. Cutelaba landed many more head strikes, I should say, 0.71 per minute more than his opponent. Gets outstruck at distance, though. Let's see, last 5 fights we can definitely look at. Devin Clark totally smashing this striking category here over Cutelaba, where Cutelaba does have the takedown numbers, however, but not the control time. Definitely control time against, though. We'll get into some differentials here. Cutelaba, 0.9 strikes per minute differential, a whopping 5.78 takedowns landed per 15 in his last 5 fights. That's crazy huge. I mean, control time is great. Ass whoop index, 3.34. No knockdowns. Chin index is awful for Cutelaba. 1.35. That is a very, very low number. High number, and you don't want it high, I should say. Devin Clark, 1.59 striking differential, 1.65 takedown differential, positive control time differential, a good ass whooping index number, never been knocked down in his last 5. So looking good there for Devin Clark. Strength of schedule, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Cutelaba here. The strength of victory is a bit worse compared to Devin Clark, but everything else is miles above. In fact, he has the highest win-loss ratio, or his opponents have the highest win-loss ratio on the card. Last 5 fights, 1-3-1 for Cutelaba, 3-2 for Devin Clark. And then some graphs here to look at. We're trending down is Cutelaba while his opponent is trending up, but he's still, for the moment, above his opponent's average. Takedown numbers far above his opponent's, and we are trending a bit down, but when you're that high, 6.26 landed per 15, that's crazy high. And then the control time, pretty even keel there, shutting his opponents down. So some good ground graphs there as far as Cutelaba goes. Devin Clark trending down on his striking, but so are his opponents, and he's still well above the average. In fact, he's doubled up his opponents as far as strikes per minute go. Takedowns landed, trending down. Control time, looking pretty good. Pretty close with his opponents, though, but for the meantime, he is out-controlling them on average. Visual statistical recap. I mean, Cutelaba's got a few of these categories, but Clark, more accuracy as far as striking goes, and better defense, and then the grappling control percent is also Clark's to be had. Fight finishing metrics, this is all Cutelaba for the most part. He has a little bit worse of a win percentage, but everywhere else much better, especially in that power index. My goodness. And then strength of schedule, like we said, everywhere is Cutelaba except for that strength of victory, and it's still pretty close. And then career finish rates. I mean, these guys are finishers in their professional career. Even in the UFC, 57% of their fights have come by way of finish. Mostly in the losses. 90% of their losses, which there's 10 of them, 9 of their 10 losses have come by way of finish. So maybe take a look at those inside the distance numbers there. And then, last fight of the night. The main event of the evening, Anthony Smith going against Ryan Spann, light heavyweight matchup. Smith, 6'4", 76-inch reach, 33 years old. He's 35-16 professionally, 10-6 in the UFC. All those fights in his professional career, and less than 12% of them have seen the distance. He has 19 wins by KO, 9 losses, 13 wins by sub, 4 losses. Just crazy numbers from Anthony Smith there. Ryan Spann, 6'5", 79-inch reach, orthodox fighter, 30 years old, 19-6 professionally, 5-1 in the UFC. 20% of his fights do go the distance. He has 5 wins by KO, 3 losses, 11 wins by sub, 1 loss. Anthony Smith, surprisingly, negative 6.86 ass whoop index, has a decent power index, 0.93, and a pretty okay chin index of 0.5. That's about, 20th out of 39th in the division, so right at the average mark. Ryan Spann, 9 ass whoop index. That is the 8th highest, 9.05. That's 8th highest in the division. Has a crazy high power index, 2.67. That's the 4th best in the light heavyweight division, and he's never been knocked down. This line has barely moved. Smith opened at -160. He's currently -174. Spann opened at +140. He's currently +144. This is a -250 fight. Doesn't go to decision. Look at these finish rates. 90% finish win rate for Smith. 50% finish loss rate. 60% finish win rate for Spann. 100% finish loss rate. I mean, look at all these round by round finish numbers here. Just almost every single round we've had a finish. Insane. 6 first-round wins between these guys. Basic striking data, 3 strikes landed per minute for Anthony Smith at a 48% accuracy, 4.52 significant strikes landed against per minute, 42% defense. That is a big old negative striking differential of 1.47. 37th out of 39th, third worst in the division. He has a negative 9.36 striking efficiency, and he's fought 55% of his total fight time at distance. When he throws over 100 strikes, or significant strikes, which has happened in 6 of his 16 fights, he lands 3.59 per minute, and he's won 5 of those fights. Ryan Spann, 3.49 significant strikes landed per minute at a 45% accuracy, gets hit with 3.28 strikes per minute at a 49% defense for a positive differential of 0.21. That is, just below average in the heavyweight or light heavyweight division, excuse me. He's also has a negative striking efficiency, negative 6.18%. He spends 56% of his total fight time at distance, so very similar to Anthony Smith. Knockdown numbers here, 5 for Smith, 4 for Ryan Spann. Pretty close, but that's 0.43 per 15 for Smith and 1.39 per 15 for Ryan Spann. That's the 5th highest in the division. Spann never been knocked down, and Anthony Smith been knocked down 4 times. Basic takedown data, half a takedown landed per 15 minutes for Smith at a 28.5% accuracy. Gets 1.79 takedowns landed against him per 15 minutes, 47.5% defense, so not a good defense at all. Negative 23.93% takedown efficiency, just bad takedown numbers there from Mr. Anthony Smith. Ryan Spann, 1.74 takedowns landed per 15 at a 41.67% accuracy. 2 landed against per minute, or per 15 rather, 57% defense, so not a great defense, but better than Smith, 10 points better. He's also has a negative efficiency, negative 1.19%, so not great takedown numbers from either one of these guys. Control time data, this is where we see the big difference here. Anthony Smith, only 6% for in his entire UFC career, 38% control time against. His opponents are, control over a round per 15 minutes against him. He doesn't even get a minute. He spent 44.75% of his total fight time inside the distance. He's only controlled 14% of that fight time. That is a crazy low number. His get-up time is atrocious, 101 seconds. His hold-down time, not great, only 31.8 seconds. So those are some very bad control time numbers from Mr. Anthony Smith, my guy from Omaha. I mean, I got much love for my Omaha guy. But I don't know about this one, man. Ryan Spann controls 27, almost 28% of his total fight time, 15% against. Spends 43.76% of his total fight time inside the distance, controls 63.72% of that time. His get-up time is pretty good, under 30 seconds, and his hold-down time isn't even 1 minute. Let's see here. Striking efficiency and differentials, we are negative everywhere across the board for Anthony Smith. Ryan Spann also negative across the board. Wow, these are some very bad numbers. His differentials are a little bit better. In fact, better everywhere than Anthony Smith, who just gets dominated in every single category. This is crazy. I mean, he's negative 1.22 ground strike differential per minute. That is terrible. He's just getting ground and pounded out. Last 5 fights, 3-2 for Smith, 4-1 for Spann. I mean, look at these. Look at this table here. Spann pretty much dominating these stats. I mean, his ass whoop index in the last 5 is 16.61, has a crazy power index of 3.85. Meanwhile, Anthony Smith, exact opposite. Strength of schedule, however, this is all Anthony Smith, and it's not really close anywhere. He's got one of the highest strength of schedule numbers on the card, highest ratios on the card, pretty much. I mean, top 10, top 5. Last 5 fights, Jimmy Crute, that was a crazy kick that pretty much incapacitated Jimmy Crute. Beat Devin Clark, subbed him out in the first round, lost to Alexander Rakic, Glover Teixeira, and has a huge win against a big UFC legend in Alexander Gustafsson. Ryan Spann, the much smaller names, Serkinov, Walker, Alvey, and Big Nog when he was like 66 years old. 66 years old. Some graphs here. Anthony Smith is trending up in the striking, but just barely. Opponents are trending down, so that is the right direction, but he is still getting dominated in that category. I mean, control time, same thing. Or, I mean, takedowns, rather, same thing. And control time also. Didn't even need to correct myself. Ryan Spann, has a great striking graph. Opponents also trending up, but for the time, actually, he is below his opponent's average right now, so he needs to step that up here against Anthony Smith, turn that graph around. Trending down as far as takedowns go, but he's still miles above his opponents. And control time, same thing. I mean, he's not even touching his opponent's graph at all. He is controlling the shit out of his opponents. At least compared to them controlling him. Basic fight metrics, this is pretty much Ryan Spann. I mean, look at the differential here. Smith has the better striking accuracy, but every other category in this graph is Ryan Spann's, and it's not close, especially that grapple time or grapple control time. That is crazy. 14% for Smith. Finishing metrics, pretty good for both guys. Both guys are prone to getting knocked out, though. And then strength of schedule, as we covered, that is all Smith across the board. And then we'll finish it off with some aggregate win, loss, and finish rates here, guys. 80% of all, or 72% finish rate in the UFC. 80% of their wins have come by finish. 57% of the losses have come by finish. I'd be shocked if this fight goes all 5 rounds. I think if it does go all 5 rounds, I think Ryan Spann, and I'll get yelled at about his cardio, but I think he has the ability to rack up control time minutes and take care of Anthony Smith, but I don't think that's going to go all 5 rounds. All right, guys, we did it. We got through the main card, all 6 fights. I really appreciate you sticking with me here. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to check out the prelim card. Has been released. All 9 fights of the prelim card are also on YouTube, so be sure to check out all the numbers you need for that. Make sure you also do your tape study. Get on it. Watch those fights. Otherwise, you're never going to win. It's never going to happen. If you're just throwing money at numbers, you can't do that. You got to watch your tape too. So make sure you do that. But again, guys, make sure you like and subscribe the video. I appreciate you sticking with me. Coming later in the week, probably in a day or two, I'll have a DraftKings video out. I know the salaries are out right now, but for some reason, one of the fights isn't even on there. I think it's the Hannah Goldie, Emily Whitmire fight. That's not even listed on DraftKings right now, so I don't know what's going on with that. I'm going to give it a day or two, and I will make a video. Also, be on the lookout for a predictions video, maybe a bets video if I get a couple of them in as well. But, guys, enjoy the week. It's fight week again. It's been a whole week without it. So let's soak it all in, get all that knowledge. I'm trying to throw as many stats at you as possible, so I hope you enjoy that. That all said, let's wrap it up, man. Have a great week, and we will see you in the next one. Peace out.